Hello, 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 KA Sports Boxing fans. This is African Boxing Unmasked, and today I am privileged. When I say privileged, a very privileged time that I have gotten. A man who is very busy is gracing our platform today. A man who is very passionate about African boxing is with us today. It was a tough one. I know we said we were going to go live around 1 p.m. GMT, but this man is very busy. So we had to get him at all costs today, and we've got it. You don't want to miss this one. Once that he comes on, he has a lot to share. He's got a lot of great things happening in Nigeria. He's working with international bodies. This is what Africa needs, and I'm privileged to have him. I'm the boxing doc. This is African Boxing Unmasked, and we're going to be right back as we always do it. All right, guys, welcome back. Today I'm privileged, like I said, and you, my audience, we are all privileged to have with us a man who is doing a lot for African boxing. When I say a lot for African boxing, I don't mean it in a light way. He has a lot of titles, and that's what I'm trying to pull up. But he deserves it. He deserves to be mentioned. And I'm going to tell you right now. But the name is Mr. Omonlei Yakubu Imadu. Did I get it right, sir?
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Mr. Imadu is doing, like I said, a lot for African boxing. And when I say I don't want to make light of what he does. In case you have not heard, he is the CEO and chairman of Yucateco or Yucateco. Did I get it right?
No, Yucateco.
Yucateco boxing promotions. Yucateco boxing promotions. But not only that, he holds a lot of positions in Nigeria, especially when it comes to boxing promotions. He's also the president of the Yucateco Boxing League, which he's going to tell us a little bit about that, and also the president of the Boxing Promoters Associations of Nigeria, BPAN for short, Boxing Promoters Association of Nigeria. 3 big titles here, and he's not taking it lightly. Welcome to African Boxing Unmasked, Mr. Imadu.
Oh, thank you so much, the boxing dog. Thank you for having me on your show. It's a privilege.
All right. So, Mr. Imadu, on here, we try to project African boxing in a positive light. I always try to get all the people doing the great things in African boxing. And I am privileged to have you. We're going to go right into it. Mr. Imadu, when anybody hears of Mr. Imadu, who are you? What is your background? How did you come into boxing? And then we'll go to all the great things that you are doing. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much. Once again, thank you for having me on the show. My name is Honorable Omonlei Yakubu Imadu. I'm the CEO Yucateco Boxing Promotions, the president of Yucateco Boxing League, the largest and the most fast-growing and most consistent boxing league, amateur boxing league in the entire continent of Africa. I am the president of Boxing Promoters Association of Nigeria as well. Boxing development as a passion, as a concern basically in Africa, became something of interest to me sometimes during the famous NSAS protests that happened in Nigeria. I was right there seated in my living room in Cancun, Mexico during the protest. And while people were just worried about the cost of that NSAS, what is going on, I was looking at the team in youths of Africa. I was looking at it differently, and something crossed my mind that the devil's hand, how will I put it? They said an idle hand is the devil's workshop. I see these great Africans in Nigerians, youths, as of that time, with a lot of energies, which, when properly engaged, can actually put Africa back on the path of greatness. But it seems the government is doing a lot. But
Mhm.
what are we doing as an individual that we're being blessed to be in diaspora or to be successful in our various businesses? How do we complement the effort of our government in various countries of Africa to make sure we can begin to engage our youth, create more opportunities that will arrest their restiveness and turn the negative, turn those energies
Mhm.
into positivity that the entire continent is going to be able to benefit from at large. That was how it all started. Then I began to look. Okay, what do we do to actually engage them? You talk about music.
Mhm.
Everybody likes music. Music is good. It's a booming so. But come to think about it, the music, that was what I was saying differently. This music that's been engaging our youth is part of what actually uh, put those people together, and we saw a lot of destruction that came out of it, which I know is actually not the right way for us to shoot grievances. Now let's go
Mhm.
back to sport. Having said that, I was beginning to think. I have never been a boxer. I have never boxed for one day you know. But I love
Mhm.
sport. While I was growing up, my dream was to become a great footballer. You know, I came back from a very poor background, was trying. I knew I was good at it, but at some point, it became dawn on me that without having someone that will actually unlock that given door, no matter what your talent is, no matter how prepared you are, no matter how much you pursued your own God-given talent in this continent of Africa, you still need someone somehow who is passionate about that given game where your career is to be able to unlock or open up the door before you can actually excel. And when there are millions of us out in there whom is yearning for someone to actually unlock that door that lead to that pathway of success, which is not visible at that point in time.
Mhm.
To God be the glory, we were quickly able to retrieve our step by virtue of the background or the home that we came from, thinking, well, it seems when the available or when the desirable is not available, the available become desirable. So at that point in time, it was done on me that if I continue to pursue this given career of a footballer, I do not see how I'm going to be able to help my family. So I have to quickly reverse back, focus on my education, and at that point in time, to God be the glory. There were challenges up and there. Here we are.
Mhm.
You know, went to school, studied mathematics and statistics, joined the civil service. Immediately after I graduated from higher institution,
Mhm.
from the university, then
Mhm.
joined the civil service and became a civil servant. Worked for a couple of years until I felt I also have to go for a greener pasture, and that was how I had to travel abroad and begin to pursue my career. To God be the glory, I am where I am today. You know,
Mhm.
then looking at what is happening back home, we've been blessed. How do we give back to the community? How do we give back? How do we always go back to support the government of the day, to support, to make sure Africa is going to be great again? We can begin to live up to our own expectations to as far as this race that we came from. Then looking at the TV, see what was happening in Nigeria, I said, no, I think boxing, which is symbolic, we don't fight in boxing,
Mhm.
but it's a game that is combative. So the challenges of life, let me learn from that given spirit of combat that anything that is good to be a champ, you have to be a champion sports, you have to be a champion of life, you have to be a champion of your own destiny. And that was how it became synonymous with boxing. And I developed that passion for boxing. And when I developed the passion for boxing, I have to travel down to Nigeria and see what are they doing that is wrong, only for me to discover that there are great talents, but the system is messed up.
Hold that thought. Wow, that was a lot of passion that you exuded there, and you gave a good timeline of how you came there into what you're about to talk about right now. Viewers, if you are just joining us, what I was flashing on the screen is actually the handwork of Mr. Imadu. All these things are past programs that he has held, and we are going to talk more about that. So it seems like passion let you there, giving back let you to what you are doing, and then you just have, it seems like you have elevated it to what is about to happen on February 6th to the 8th right now. So when you got back, sir, and you realize that there's not what you at least are suspecting is not going on, how did you proceed? Who did you talk to? How did you get it started, and then got the league going? Please let our viewers know.
Thank you very much. Like I said, when I got back in, the very first thing I need to do as a patriotic Nigerian was to
Mm-hmm,
try to see what do they have on ground, who is responsible for what are their
mm-hmm,
challenges, what are they doing right, what are they not doing right, what are the
mm-hmm,
vacuums that need to be filled. So I
mm-hmm,
begin to do my research. And doing my research, the very first thing you want to do in Africa, nobody want to listen to you when you just come from diaspora and
mm-hmm,
they cannot meet you or get anything out of
mm-hmm,
you. You know, that is the
mm-hmm,
continent where we go from. So at that point in time, I have to start throwing money around. What do I mean by throwing money around? When you go in
mm-hmm,
there, I have to first cross my heart that I will be exploited. If you are coming and you want to make a change, or you want to enforce a change, and you are so bent on, oh, I can't let anybody take anything out of me because what they are doing doesn't make sense, you're not going to be able to make or to break that given gene. So that was the very first thing that worked well for me. I knew I was going to get this right, but for me to let them open up so that I can understand their problem and I can see how I can better approach it, right? I make myself vulnerable. Meaning when I go in there, I try to look beyond their shortcomings. You know, the system is so corrupt. We all know that. You know what I mean? Everybody want to extract. I begin to see that they make use of this given God-given talent. They don't care about them growing or becoming a champion. They only care about grooming them for their own selfish interest. There seems not to be a follow-up. You groom them to a given stage, just want them to represent the country or to build some record for them to get a fight. That is what it is. So after 2 consecutive years of
Can
studying
I,
it,
before you go there, I want to make a point that you made that because you were speaking, it may have been lost, but it's very important because me myself, I have experienced it. You said a point about throwing money around, which some people may not understand because I have been told that several times that I'm wasting money. When you go to a system, you have to immerse yourself in the system before you can make the change. Because so sometimes it's not about wasting money, it's about trying to immerse yourself in the system, do things the way they do it, and then you try to change it. So what Mr. Imadu said, if you are African and you are real, you know what he's talking about. You have to sometimes be part of the system in order to change the system. Otherwise, you are going to get all the blocking and you just can't figure out your way. And there have been people say who have come and want to be like, I want to make the change. I want to do it this way. It's not going to work. So it's not like Mr. Imado. He may be a millionaire or billionaire, but it's not like he just wanted to throw money around. He wanted to be part of the system and then change it from within. So I just wanted to make that point because oftentimes people say, oh, people like you, people like me, we are just wasting money and throwing money around. But look at where you are now. Say, go on. Sorry to cut you short. So 2 years into it.
yeah, 2 years into it, I
Mm-hmm,
now get to understand who are the boxing stakeholders all across, who are the legitimate organization, what are their challenges,
mm-hmm,
the mistakes, the indiscipline on the part of boxers, officials, commissions,
mm-hmm,
regulating bodies, stakeholders, legends, all and all, So when I understood exactly what was going, then I stepped out a bit, right? And
mm-hmm.
took time for myself to now draw a working plan and how to combat it. I knew the challenges is going to be enormous because when you are coming with a change, the
Mm-hmm.
system is going to resist that change. But
Yes.
if you are bent on doing something, do not be discouraged about the resistance. right? So one day I show you resistance, you should know that these are part of what you are up against, right? But when you become so consistent and you've made up your mind, right? When the system sees that you are achieving results, you
Mm-hmm.
are very, very focused. They,
Mm-hmm.
whether they like it or not, they're going to end up embracing it. Then the good news is going to begin to see, and that is what we're seeing today. Now, part of what I did was
Mm-hmm.
to the first thing I actually identified was that the major problem that is hindering the development of boxing in Nigeria is lack of competitive platforms and
Mm-hmm.
alternate platforms apart from the government platforms. Because come to think about it, this is
Mm-hmm.
synonymous to all other African countries in this
Mm-hmm.
given continent, right? On a yearly basis, there are few competitions. When you talk about the Olympic, it happens every 4 years. That is what we have going. When you talk about the Commonwealth Games, maybe every 2 years. You talk about all African Games in the same vein. Then in some countries they have this national championship, which is not visible. It's not constant because we don't really have most often time we don't have the right people in place in most of the federations in Africa, right? In African countries, Nigeria, as an example, in which imagine we have a federation and the last time they have a national championship, which was supposed to be a grassroots preparation in discovering talent for the Olympic game, was last done in 2018. And right here we are in 2025. That is 7 years ago. Can you imagine that? Now, if you now have, in the case of Nigeria, where we have over about 36 states or more, right? You have people, various gyms in various states on a yearly basis, maybe up to about 500 to 1,000 different pugilists, God-given talent, training very hard in various gyms, trying to make a career out of boxing, right? Then you train so hard for almost a year or days, you think you are good. You don't have a place to showcase your talent or to test your ability, right? Then it's going to be a time where boxing is going to Olympic is going to come or any of the major competition as it comes. But what are you going to do? Right? The country is not going to come with all kind of things. It's either they tell you there is no enough finances because some people, the government is making the money available, but some people is sitting down. We need to stop running federations in Africa just for the so-called Esther code because we just believe the people are there, they only cares about Esther code. So we want to get the money out and take only few people to get the money. It's not all about going to the Olympic to uphold the glory of the country, but it's all about going to Olympic or going to all these national games as a participant, which becomes a sign for us to be able to make accounts or drop budget in getting extra code from the government, but not really developing the boxers, right?
No,
So
you're right.
if peradventure you have 100 boxers, let me just give it, let's assume 100 boxers for the case of a country which
Mm-hmm.
is smaller, but in the case of Nigeria, we have over 200 to 500 boxers who always ripe in a given year.
Mm-hmm.
Then the time comes for Olympic, all of them dreams aspire to be someone. And the country is going to tell you, the people running the federation is going to tell you, oh, the government do not release money, which is often not the truth, right? But they want to
Mm-hmm.
rationalize and say we can only take five, or we can only take 10 to the Olympic. So if 100 boxers train, you are only taking 10 to the Olympics. That's after
Mm-hmm.
2 years. Another one is not going to come until 10 years. Do you expect the rest of the 100 or 200 people to continue to train until another 4 or 5 years? They're going to give up in that given career. They have already wasted 1 year or 2 years. They're not going to go back to drawing, but some of them is going to become a hooligans on the street. Some of them is going to lose it. And we have a God-given champions among those given one whose door
Mm-hmm.
of that opportunity has been shot upon, right? And they become
Mm-hmm.
something else, and we lose great champions. And those few that will go, they only go in there because the federation want to use them as a base to be able to justify the Esther code. They go back, they go, they don't care whether they get a medal or not. They don't care
Mm-hmm.
the amount of money the government invests or spend. When they come
Mm-hmm.
back in there, it's old story. And when they come back in there, they don't follow up with these kids anymore. What happens to them? They get forgotten. Before another next 2 years, the next victim among those that has been training are there, whom they will use only few or three or five or 10. Maximum I've ever seen any country in Africa take to a boss international competition, be it Olympic or this. The maximum I've ever seen is about 10, 15. They hardly go up to like 20.
Mm-hmm.
Then that was the very first thing. So I said, okay, how do we keep these people active? I have to create a consistent platform. And from that consistent platform, we have to continue to build on it as an alternative where even if you don't get to represent your country
Mm-hmm.
because of the limited opportunities, right? Good
Mm-hmm.
boxers can excel through the competitive platform,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
begin to go to international competition on a during private participation. And that is what got us to where we are today. So the emergence of the Yucateco Boxing League was
Mm-hmm.
created. And when it was created, it was it becomes a very wonderful one. In the very first season, right, we created the platform. That's why it becomes actually the biggest boxing league in the continent of Africa, and the longest boxing event or boxing tournament in the
So that,
entire world. I
not to
stand to be
cut you
corrected.
short, what? So how long has it been in existence?
Thank you. Now we are in season two. We
Mm-hmm.
just ended. The season two is on the last phase. We are waiting that we finish the season two, but we are waiting to do the grand finale, the
Mm-hmm.
two final clubs, which is going to happen on February 21 of 2025.
Okay.
That's just going to be exactly 2 weeks from the WBC amateur tournament. We
So
shall be over the grand finale of the Yucateco Boxing League season two.
so how do you come to this conclusion of is the longest? And how are you classifying it?
Thank you. Thank you. You, as a boxing enthusiast, let
Mm-hmm.
me first of all start with this. The first season, we have 8 clubs,
Mm-hmm.
accredited 8 clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have over 180 boxers enrolled. Now, the first season lasted for 13 consecutive weeks. Every Friday,
Mm-hmm.
Every Friday, boxers are going to fight themselves. Each one of them has 8 fights, and they fight every week. We have that given event. That means if you're a boxer, you fight this given week, you know you're going to miss 1 week to fight
Mm-hmm.
another one. So,
Mm-hmm.
because of the 14 days mandatory rest period, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
the season one was a 13 weeks event, which was exactly 3 months. Okay, 3 months of consecutive boxing game. They became so active. Now, why do I tell you it's the longest one? Season two, we now have the club increased from 8 clubs to 12 clubs, and we are talking about from 180 boxers to 312 boxers, and we have 570 bouts for 22 consecutive weeks. 22 consecutive weeks of boxing program every given Friday. A whole year, we have 52 weeks in a year. So if we have a boxing program where all boxers were being engaged for a space of about 5 months every
Mm-hmm.
Friday, non-stop. You tell me what boxing event ever in the history of mankind, one boxing event, even the longest boxing event, which is Olympic, hardly the boxing game in the Olympic hardly goes for more than 2 weeks, and you have a boxing event that lasted for 5 good months every given Friday automatically, and that's 570 bouts of boxing events on a weekly basis. All this can be evidence if you go to Yucateco TV on our YouTube channel. So I hope I've made myself clear. I've explained to you why I felt is the longest
Yes.
of all.
Yes. Let me ask you a few questions about the league that I feel like our audience will be interested in. Now, when you are starting something like this, usually sometimes you have to start from your own personal funds. And my viewers, if you are listening or you are viewing, please, you can have any questions or your comments in the comment section, and I'll pull it up from Mr. Imadu. Um, how are you funding this, or should I say, in the beginning, how did you fund it, and how are you funding it right now?
Thank you so much. A very wonderful question. The miracle of God that most people always find very interesting. Like when we started, I told you one thing, right? If you are passionate about something, when there is will, there is success, right? The will brought about passion, and the passion brought about consistency. At the initial stage, it was the goodwill from family, friends, and people that believe in my integrity, who happens to be that share the same vision, right? When I told them about the vision, they said we believe we can do it. But we come from a continent. When you have something that you want to do, gone are the days where people invest in anybody's idea on paper. You have to be able to start it yourself, build it, and prove a point that this thing is doable. Then they begin to see the legitimacy in you, how consistent and your integrity. Then people begin to buy into your own idea. That was how it started. I have to use up my savings, to a given point where it becomes so visible to people. And when they saw that
Wow.
it is visible, you now see my wife, family, friends who also believe every time I'm going, oh, this is a huge task. Hey, we're giving you this, giving support. We support you this. This must not stop because it's changing the life of so many. So we are contributing our quotas, and that's how we've been doing it.
Mr. Imadu, I want to make this point. In case you missed it, viewers, he said he used up this man is passionate about what he was doing. He used up his own personal savings to the point that he was getting help from people, and he didn't let the dream die. The advice here is that sometimes even some of the current billionaires, the Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs, it took them about 5 or more years before they could actually realize their dreams. Now, I'm not saying you go spend your savings without a plan. You have to have a plan and then keep going. But I feel that it's very important that this man use his own personal savings, finance, and even families and friends who supported him, saw his dream to help him. Sometimes you can't do it alone. That's another advice there. Please go on. I had to let my viewers know. And they
Thank
saw
you.
it visibly that things were not going well, but they kept supporting you.
Yeah, because they believe so much in me. They
Hmm.
know how passionate I am when I want to be passionate about something. They know anything I put my mind on and I work so hard on it. They know I won't give up on it, and at the end of the day, it's going to come out in success. But the most catching part of it is that when they look at what I was doing, they
Hmm.
saw that my primary motive is how to change the life of many. To make sure you put
Yes.
a smile on it, not about
Yes.
my own personal interest, and that's why they keyed into it to
Yes.
keep that passion. So because they also believe they want to help many people, but they don't know how to reach out. So they saw that my platform as an opportunity in putting smiles on people's face, getting people off the street, unlocking that door that might be closed for somebody to actualize his dream. That's why you see them every time I said, "Oh, we've done this week. We are going to next week. I'm short on cash." And you know how much it is to actually do an international standard boxing event. If you check our YouTube, you will see international standard boxing event on a weekly basis. Sometimes each one runs into millions of naira, which is thousands of dollars on a weekly basis. So sometimes when I feel like I'm weak or the burden is too much or the shoulder is heavy, I cry out to them. And because God is always in support, and the what we are doing is not for my own self-aggrandizement, but He puts His mind on people's face. Before I make the call out, you will see we don't have a sponsor, we don't have anybody. You're going to say, "Oh, I don't work this giving week. I'm going to be the one that will sponsor this giving week. Give me your account." They send the money in there. Boom, right?
Wow.
And we'll use it, we'll scale through that week. Before the next week, another person is going to come in, they will do. And some week, I feel reluctant even asking. I will go back to my little business. I will pull up money again from my chains of supermarkets, pull up the
Mm.
profit, and I will tell
Mm.
my wife, "Hey, we have to keep this thing going, you know." So what do we do? You know, this we've seen the effect on this on the life of these young ones, teaming youths, and this is fantastic. And you know what my wife is going to tell me? "I am
Uh,
with you, my love. I believe in your
oh
vision.
my
I believe in
God.
your passion." And he will pull out the profit that we were supposed to use to multiply our business. Maybe the profit that we got from the supermarket business for a good week. Or sometimes in a good 2 weeks, we will put it together, we'll throw it in there again. And we
I
keep
just
pushing. And here
I
we
just
have.
I keep shaking my head because I feel like you are telling my life story right there. I'm telling you, people sometimes think, "Oh, you're a doctor in the US." Sometimes we, I mean, it's not everything that you have to say, but the wife will be like, "Man, how are you still doing this?" Anyway, just go take it, and the account will go into negative. People don't know the kind of things we do and the negotiations we do with our loved ones before we do what we do out there. So I feel like you are telling my life story. But either way, so you have been scaling it day, week, and week, and week, and week. And now, besides changing lives, it seems like, at least from the outside, the boxing is going well. Or what would you say about it, the league itself?
Wow, the legacy pays off. You know, like when we're having our international conference today, somebody
Hmm.
asked me,
Hmm.
we know you've not been making, even if you have been making money, you have not actually made enough, or you're not even making at all. By virtue of what we see you doing here and there, And how are you feeling that you still remain passionate and you are still doing it, even though sponsors has not come your way? But my answer to my
Mm.
fellow to viewers or the listener who is listening on this show, I have an advice and I'm going to share the light on it. I'm gonna tell you some, right? This life, it all depends on your definition of profit or what you want to get out of everything. Some people always quantify profit in
It's
everything you
money.
do by money. It might not really be money. You see, ever since we started, considering what I have put in it and what people are in there, I stand to be corrected. I have never in the past 3 years, I haven't made $1. I stand to be corrected, and God is my witness from this.
Mm.
But I have spent my own savings. Sometimes, at some point, there was a time one giving week came in. I had to pay my children's school fees who are all abroad at that
Mm-hmm.
point in time, and the money was in my wife. But I told my wife, I said, you know what, my children, they are just I can count them, right? But these giving people who needed these things, who smiles and hope has been raised, rose to some point. Stopping this thing is that, you know what, let me delay my children's school fees, borrow me that school fees. We just have to keep this event going. And they did it, and it happens. And guess what?
Mm.
The moment a friend of mine just overheard that, he was sharing tears that how can somebody be so passionate? And guess what? He said,
Mm.
with what you have done, I am paying for your children's school fees, right? And I'm going to give you money that
Mm.
will be enough for you to do 4 good weeks, which is 1 month in
Wow.
addition.
Wow.
Did you see that? So,
Yes.
why am I saying this? Right? It is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
I have not made a dime, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy and I'm not ready to stop at this given point in time because guess what? I
Mm.
believe I am making something. What am I making out of it? The joy that I'm seeing in the joy and the positive changes I'm seeing in the life of all those people. When I look at their face, I see them smile. I feel very fulfilled.
Mm.
The irrespective of the money that I spend, I said I know I am seeing a champion in them, and one day they're going to be a champion. And when they
Mm-hmm.
become a champion, they will be able to also help someone by unlocking that door. And these are part of what has kept me going. And today, here we are. Yucateco brand, Yucateco Boxing Promotion, has become an household name in the entire continent of Africa. It has
Mm-hmm.
become a household name in Nigeria. The
Mm-hmm.
whole world also has known. So it then means the good work will always speak. Today, we are directly affiliated with the WBC. They are championing
Mm.
our cause. They gave us the hosting right to be able to bring on the WBC amateur to Africa for the very first time. I
Mm.
did not profit. Yeah, that might not be monetary profit, but guess
Mm-hmm.
what? That is a way that you work so hard and you are able to unlock the door,
Mm-hmm.
an alternative door for the team youth of Africa. And through that, they can actually take their dream to the highest level. What other gains can we think about? So all we just pray, the sponsor might not be available now, but I know one day, people are seeing what we are doing all over the place, right? Sponsors
They
will
are.
definitely come one day. And when they come, we'll be able to do more and more people will have the chance of benefiting. But I pray fervently to Almighty God that He continue to strengthen us because we cannot afford to allow this wonderful program that is good for the team youth of Africa to come to an halt. We
Uh,
have to continue to keep it going because it's working.
and I'm a firm believer. Like I told you, backstage. I feel like we all are similar in so many ways. The passion, the change, the lives that we see. Some of us have come to love the sport, but seeing people's life change actually is more fulfilling than sometimes the profit that we will get. The money is important because it needs to keep us going and touching more lives. Eventually that is going to come, but you are doing a yeoman's job, and certainly the blessings, some of the one that you spoke about, is just the beginning. So now let's talk a little bit about the boxing tournament coming up that you are doing with the WBC, with the World Boxing Council and the African Boxing Union. It's coming up on February. Guys, this is it on your screen. It's coming up on February 6th to the 8th in Lagos, Nigeria. Yucateco is teaming up with the WBC and the African Boxing Union. This is great. I am interested, and I'm pretty sure our audience are interested. How you came to work with the ABU and then the WBC, and then we'll talk about the tournament itself.
Thank you.
How did you get the chance to work with the two bodies?
Thank, thank you very much. Because I'm a strong believer in people's dream. It was done on me at the end of the very first season, and when we are halfway, midway with the second season, that I have over 312 boxers whom they are ripe enough. They really want to advance their career beyond the shores of Nigeria, beyond the shores of Africa, beyond the shores of just the boxing league. Right now, after discovering them, grooming them, giving them a sense of belonging and hope, does that mean um and the door is actually closed for them to advance beyond that, because nobody's going to unlock? Olympic is not forthcoming because of the crisis between hyper and the world boxing. um Federations are not getting their things together. AFBC having crisis here and there. Personal interest is all over the place. Now, does that mean these people are going to be discouraged and just go off the way? That becomes an headache for me. I was thinking, I was having sleepless nights, and doing some more research, something came up to me. In the course of me doing research, only for me to discover that the very first ever WBC Boxing World Cup is coming towards the end of this year, and it will happen in Mexico. So when I dig further to search what are the criteria, I discover you must have participated in the WBC amateur boxing program or tournament, right, to be able to qualify for that. So has it ever happened in Africa? When they say happening, the answer was known as of then. Nothing in men, they don't even know about it. And I discovered this has been done in Asia. It's Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, South America, North America. And that means all those giving people will get a chance to participate in the first ever Boxing World Cup that is going to happen later this year in Mexico. So, and because I'm a passionate person, like I do believe in that word that said, Africa, my Africa, Africa, whom my grandmother sang in the bank of a distant river, that beautiful blood that you really feet. So the passion just came up and said, does that mean with all these over 312 boxers and great boxers all that in other countries of Africa, we are not going to be able to see anyone participate in that World Cup coming here? No, this have to stop. Then I had to pick up my passport and decide to go to Hamburg, Germany for the convention. While I was there, so I laid out my case. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to speak with people that matters, and I told them, "Fine, the World Cup is coming. This is a wonderful program, right? How does that mean we don't have talent in Africa? Because it seems the door is locked, is shut for the God-given talent in Africa. So how do we unlock it? Then the question is, yeah, if they can do, and I told them, I know the burden is heavy. Nobody seems to be ready in Africa for now. The economy, the world economy is in bad shape. But if
Mm-hmm.
we've been doing the league, and I have all those giving balls, I'm going to make this happen for the entire uh, boxers in the continent of Africa by creating the opportunity, by opening that door
Mm.
that will open their pathway to that, and I will take the sacrifice, and every given sacrifice pays. That was why I was pleading and I asked for the hosting right. And God was magnanimous to us. God was great, was merciful to us. The president of WBC said, we have been following what you're doing. We've seen your passion, your consistency, and in view of that, we're going to support you all the way. We give you the hosting right. Go to Africa, go and organize it and do it. And that was how it all started. So I came back in there and I called my team and I said, we have to get this done. And because we don't know how soon this can happen again, I said, you know what, it's not going to be easy, it's not cheap. It would have been easy if I just limit it to only Nigerian. But then the opportunities for other African countries, what if they don't have the opportunities to participate? Does that mean they won't get a chance to go to World Cup? So I also went back and spoke to the ABU, the African Boxing Union, and
Mm-hmm.
let's make it a continental even so that other countries who are also interested can participate, so we can have African visibility in the upcoming World Cup. That is how this all started. ABU was very helpful, WBC was very supportive, and here we are preparing, and it's going to happen live.
Wow. My I am in our guys. He said that's the other thing also. Faith without work sometimes doesn't work. He took his passport and went to Germany to go and advocate for Africa. That is some passion. And I didn't even know there's going to be a World Cup for box. Like if it wasn't you talking about it, I had never heard of it. And we actually want to do boxing. We want to help people, but I didn't know about it. And so, and it had to be a continental tournament to qualify for that one. So people watching, if you have a boxers, you're a manager, you are a coach, and you have boxers that are participating or want to be known in the world stage, please make sure, and I'm going to ask Mr. Imadu in a second the deadline, make sure you register and participate in this tournament so that you can get a chance to participate in the world level. Mr. Imadu, the process of registration, can you share with my audience if first there is too late or it's still open, and where they can go and register for this tournament? All Africans, our platform goes to all Africans, so please share with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. The registration is still very much open because we want to make sure we extend these opportunities to as many countries in Africa as possible so there can be more visibility. That's why we make it a continental tournament, even though it's being hosted here in Lagos. So to register, just go to our website, the www.yucatecoboxing.com, and you're going to see the WBC ABU tournament link in there. Click on it. It's going to take you to the page. And I think I've shared the code with you. And the code are also available on our website. If you are a boxer, you use the given code. Once you put the code, it's going to populate most of the information that is needed for the registration, like your weight, your medical record, weight categories, and the likes. It is open to all boxers who is able, all boxers or boxing club who are able to make it down to Lagos, in terms of the flight ticket, logistics, and the likes, but we try to make it very easy for the boxers also by making sure we the promoter, which has also never happened, but we try to make it easy, not because we have too much or we have
Mhm.
money, but because believe me sincerely, this is an international tournament that is happening, and we do not have one single sponsor as of now. We are spending out of our own pocket single-handedly. Hopefully, maybe before the beginning of the tournament, maybe sponsors might come or no, but we're not banking on that. If it comes, the better for we, the better for the participants, right? As we give him more benefits. But if not, we just have to make it work. But what we've been able to do as a promotion, if it was in promotion, we have tried to make the registration so free so that people can participate, right? That is one. And we also make sure if you can get yourself to Nigeria, right, legally, you get yourself to Nigeria, then we're going to make sure we give free accommodation and we give free feeding for those given period while you are in for the competition. It's all about giving more opportunities and visibilities to African boxers at the worldwide stage. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. And I would want to state what you said, basically, so that the information is double. Guys, if you want to participate, yucatecoboxing.com, go there. The registration is there. I have done it. It's very straightforward. If you can get your boxer to Nigeria legally, they take care of everything from hotel, accommodation to your food, and then in transport in Nigeria while you are there. They take care of everything. Don't forget that this particular event is a qualification for the world championship. So if you really want to put your boxer out there, this is the chance. This is the chance to put your amateur boxer out there. And this is fantastic for African boxing. And I'm very happy that Mr. Imadu, you are heading this. Are we? How is registration going? How many boxers are we anticipating by the end of the day when all is done, sir?
Yeah, we open it up to 52 boxers
Okay.
in total. And as it stands now, we've got about 22 boxers from countries other than Nigeria
Okay.
that have registered as of this given moment. I know by the time I go back to the back end of the website portal, maybe there will be more than that. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, 52 boxers what we actually need to get it started.
Okay.
So that's where we are. Um,
And how many qualifications are we getting to the world stage from this tournament, if you don't mind sharing?
oh well, that's another fantastic question, though. Um, I want to believe everybody that gets to the final, once you are in the final, right, silver medal or gold medal from Africa, automatically you have a chance to go in there and participate, right? But as it is, if
Mhm.
peradventure there will be more opportunities to get more people, then the promotion will work very hard to see if we can stage another one in any other country of Africa. The Yucateco Boxing Promotion will try to take it to other countries of Africa and stage it over there. We've done it before. We've gone to Togo before and stage. Even though I'm a Nigerian, I've gone to Togo and stage an international fight in there to give opportunities for them. So hopefully, maybe before the World Cup again, we might be opportune to go stage another one, so that people who are not opportune to participate in this or didn't perform well will get a benefit. But it still boils down to, for as many African boxers that qualify, right? When that time comes for them to go to Mexico to go and participate, will they be able to get a sponsor? That is the big question. That is why it is important to be, if we are lucky to get a good sponsor right now that can continue to drive this process, so that before then, a lot of African boxers will be able to go participate without hindrances of finances.
I would be, as a boxing enthusiast, as a boxing passionate person, I think I will not do my job if I don't invite you and the WBC to come and hold the next qualification in Ghana. I will certainly
Okay.
I will certainly have my promoters, promotion support you, and so that we can get more Africans there. So this is an open but official invitation that let the next qualification tournament be in Ghana, and we can talk more about that later in the back. We will support.
All
We will
right.
support. Now,
Thank you.
where is you said it's in Mexico. When is that, the champion, the
Yeah.
final one?
Based on the website and the publication so far, the
Mhm.
date has not been fixed. They only said the late part of this given year. It might be in October, August. It might be October, September. We don't know yet, but definitely it's going to happen.
Okay. Okay. I know you're a busy man. Time is fast spent. Guys, if you are just joining us, I am privileged to have the CEO of Yucateco Boxing Promotions, who is also the president of the Boxing Promoters Association of Nigeria, um, here with me on African Boxing Unmasked. As you know, we always elevate African boxing. We do criticize, but we criticize to elevate. He and his promotions outfit is working with the WBC and the African Boxing Union to bring you an African amateur tournament in Nigeria, in Lagos, from the 6th to the 8th of February. Now, this is not just a tournament and forgetting about it. He did say that the winners, or the first runner-ups, the silver medalists and the gold medalists, gets automatic qualification to the World Amateur Championship, which will be held in Mexico sometime this year. This is an opportunity for Africans, talented African boxers, to go showcase their talent. I don't know about you, but if you mean well for Africans, you mean well for a boxer who is talented, I think you should sponsor them to this fantastic event. And the good thing about it is, once you can get the boxer to Nigeria, they take care of everything. It couldn't have been any better than this. So, guys, you have it here. This amateur African tournament, Mr. Imadu, we're gonna end soon. I just want you to give us your last words. If there are any two things for any person like you who is watching, who is passionate about boxing, and they want to do something like you are doing, what do you have to say to them? And then we'll talk about the second word I want you to give. What would you say to the person like you who wants to do what you are doing?
Yeah, my advice to them is that they have to remain focused, that there will always be another mountain, there will always be challenges, there will always be mountains, but it's not um, all about how we get there, but they have to show resistance. Believe and focus on what you believe in. Don't be discouraged by the challenges that that might come your way, but you will definitely, or they should definitely overcome the challenges.
All right. Now, and finally, your word of advice or your word about this tournament happening in Lagos from the 6th to 8th of February. Any information you want them to know, please put it out there and then we'll end our interview.
Yeah, the tournament is so important in the sense that as an amateur, the moment you get to participate in this, automatically you will also be getting world ratings for amateur. In the professional realm, when you fight, they get ratings. Amateur don't get rated, don't get world ratings in boxing, more especially all those amateurs in Africa because of their record. But with this, it becomes a new dawn. You get to participate apart from going to World Cup. That means your record. It gives you visibility on the world stage. It gives you ratings on the world stage, and those opportunities will be open. And you might also be able to see important and big promoters that ordinarily you wouldn't have been they wouldn't have been able to see you, and they can begin to show interest in you and can even approach you or come for you to sign you into bigger promotions. And that is the beginning of your career.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a privilege having you. Your time is very important, and I am glad you are doing this for African boxing. And we hope to talk more. Our crew will be in Nigeria for this tournament, and hopefully they will be bringing us more, and we'll get a chance to speak to you. Thank you very much, Mr. Imadu.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day, sir.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right, Africans, everybody watching on KA Sports Boxing. This is the kind of things we like to show on African boxing unmasked, the positive of African boxing. I am just excited, and I am sure, and I am basically telling all coaches, all managers, all promoters in Africa that if you have an amateur that is talented, please sponsor them to this tournament because it may be the gateway to bigger things for them. Don't forget that the BBC is doing a lot. If you watch professional boxing, the BBC is doing a lot with Turkey, the Saudis, where essentially boxing is now, where the money is now. The BBC is doing a professional boxing tournament that's coming. And then they are doing an amateur boxing tournament in Mexico. This particular event in Africa, is a qualification for that world tournament. This particular event is a qualification for that tournament. So please, the website is there, yucatecoboxing.com, yucatecoboxing.com. You can go there and register your boxers, get them to Nigeria, and they will take care of everything. Transportation in Nigeria, food, accommodation. And then if they are able to go forward, whether they get silver or gold, they get to go participate in the World Championships in Mexico. This is very important. These are the kind of things we like to see for African boxing. And I hope that we, coaches, promoters, managers, you sponsor your boxer to go to this. Just get them there, and then the rest will be history. If they are really good, I'm pretty sure someone from the Saudis is going to be in Mexico for the World Championship. So please, extend this to your amateur out there. Yucatecoboxing.com, and let's have some Africans represented at the world stage. If this is your first time, this is African Boxing Unmasked. I'm your host, the Boxing Doc. We do this to elevate African boxing. We'll be doing it again as we get it, as we get the personalities. But most importantly, KA Sports Boxing is going to be in Nigeria. KA Sports Boxing is going to be in Lagos, Nigeria, to bring you all the highlights, all the events that are going on. Unfortunately, we cannot stream because the rights is given to someone else. But we will bring you live coverage of some of the things that is happening at this tournament. I'm your host again, the Boxing Doc, and this is African Boxing Unmasked. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.